Hello, can I call to order the 1,589th meeting of the General Student Senate of the 16th meeting of the 46th session. Notice that this meeting is being broadcast via Zoom and the recording will be publicly available on YouTube. Now I will read the land acknowledgement. The University of Maine recognizes that it's located on Marsh Island, homeland of the Penobscot Nation, where issues of water and territorial rights and encroachment upon sacred sites are ongoing. Penobscot homeland is connected to the other Wabanaki tribal nations, the Passamaquoddy, Maliseet, and Micmac, through kinship, alliances, and diplomacy. University also recognizes that the Penobscot Nation and other Wabanaki tribal nations are distinct, sovereign, legal, and political entities with their own powers of self-governance and self-determination. I'm now looking for approval of the 09/02/2025 minutes in this agenda. Senator Moore.
I move to approve the 09/05 minutes in this agenda.
So I hear a second? That's the pleasure of the Senate. That is adopted. Next is general good and welfare, where any non-member may address the GSS for no more than 5 minutes. Seeing none, we'll be moving on to new senators, officer appointments, and resignations. There's Sparks.
I make a motion to suspend the rules to add Joseph Elliott to senator appointments.
Hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Seeing none, debate. Seeing none, all of those in favor? All those opposed? All abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes.
Point of order, we didn't do roll call.
Now let's pass. The clerk will now call the roll. Intro.
Here.
Cynthia Schumberdine.
Here. Joshua Bull.
Here.
Dylan Lehman.
Here.
Jordan Thompson.
Here.
Nate Fang. Jason McClure. Zoe Stankovitz.
Here.
Olivia Britton.
Here.
Israel Nevada. Kyle Rickard. Ray Vanderwood.
Here.
Ezekiel Demore.
Here.
Ryan St. Lawrence.
Here.
Counselor Cowan.
Here.
Kevin Meek. Here. Isabella Lamberton. Here. Kayla Kearns. Here. Basar Harvey.
Excused.
Jeremy Collmore.
Here.
Zachary Zala.
Here.
Ethan Cry.
Here.
Hazel Sparks. Here. Colleen Villette.
Here.
Taylor Stanford. Here. Jonathan Harper.
Excused.
Lauren DePoe.
Excused.
Nancy Carpet. Here. Jackson Gamble.
Here.
Lori Sedavas. Code.
I'm here.
Thank you. Are there any other guests that haven't been called?
Okay. Now on to new senators, officer appointments, resignations. Brindley Stewart has resigned as senator. And will Juliana Stomper, Ryer Chapman, Haley Inman, Dennis Stewart, Riley St. Clair, and Senator Sparks, can you remind me of the name?
Elliot. Joseph Elliott.
Joseph Elliott, please stand. I state your name.
I am Robert Jr.
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support and uphold
That I will support and uphold
the Constitution of Student Government, Inc.
Constitution of Student Government, Inc.
and all other rules and guidelines
and all other rules and guidelines
to which I will be held.
to which I will be held.
Further, I swear
Further, I swear
to well and faithfully discharge
well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
upon which I am about to enter,
upon which I am about to enter,
while representing my constituency
while representing my constituency
at the University of Maine.
at the University
of Maine. Seeing nothing for club maintenance or club presentations, we'll now move on to our guest speakers. Sean cannot make it today, and so I will introduce Pam and BJ.
I'm Pam Alden. I am the assistant to the vice president for finance, which is currently law. So basically, I've worked on campus pretty much all my life in athletics, and when I came here, I replaced a lady that had been in the position for 35 years and another one that had been here for 10. So I'm going into my 10th year as student government, which I can't believe, so fast. So I'm responsible and pretty much helping assisting Josh with everything finance from start to finish. I do things like payroll, taxes, and onboarding of new employees, collect receipts for money, disperse money, that sort of thing. A big part of my job is it's working on the financial audit, which is required for student government, and that happens in the summertime. But we also get audited sometimes by the state, people, labor board, or there's all kinds of different people that could audit us. I've been involved in that. So pretty much that's what I do. I really love working here. I love student government. I love what you all do. I'm so proud of you and how you operate, and the fact that you can be such positive voices for the whole student body. I think what you do is so important. And the education that I think all of you get, whether it be the treasurer of a club, is just so invaluable, and I think sometimes better than what you get in the classroom. It's my feeling. But if there's ever anything I can do to help you succeed, or anything that I can do to help you in any area at all, please stop by the office. I really love what I do. My heart is here, and I'm so honored and blessed to be part of the student government. All of you. Thank you.
So I'm BJ Finch, and I'm the new Jeff. I'm the executive administrative assistant. I work in the office with Pam, and I report to Cynthia. So I'll be here to help with all kinds of stuff, and paperwork, et cetera, the filing. I'm learning my job as I'm only on week 2 myself, so I know there's a lot of new faces in here as well. I will give you a heads up, I'm really bad with names, so bear with me as I've learned all of them, but I'm excited to work with everyone. I've seen this group come a long way since I started on campus here in '96, and I think we're gonna have a really great time. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Was there any questions for our speakers?
I don't have a question, I just want to say, little known fact, BJ was Bananas the bear.
Was it true?
Yeah, okay, so that was the topic that I was gonna get on to too. Do you wanna tell us a little bit about your history at UMaine, might as well, while we're here?
Me?
Yeah,
I started as a freshman in '96. I picked the school because I was a marching band geek, and I had a great time being in the marching band and pep band for about 3 years. Before I joined the fraternity and became Bananas the Bear. I got to do a national championship a couple of times with the women's basketball team. Unfortunately, we only made it second, so. I had a great time with that, and then after graduation, I stuck around as an advisor to the fraternity, where I've been there. I did 25 years before I finally cut ties and said it's time. Even though my jobs were off campus, the connection was always there until right before lockdown. I actually got hired to work at the Bare Necessities fan shop as the new Pam. And then during lockdown, I got transferred over to the bookstore, and I was there for 6 years. So it's exciting to be over here with you guys and be working with students together.
What did you play in the marching band?
Alpha Sass.
Any more questions?
What fraternity were you part of?
It was Alpha Phi Omega at the time, but it's now the fraternity that's recognized as Alpha Delta.
Any more questions for our speakers? Well, thank you again so much for coming. It was great to have you guys introduce yourselves to the Senate. You're allowed to stay or go. But thank you so much again. We'll now be moving on to executive reports, and questions are open to non-members. Starting with the president, he gets read.
Computer was that. Okay. All right, welcome to Senate Week 2. I hope everybody's first week went well. I know for me, it was a lot of getting our feet underneath us, so I hope that everybody's kind of where they need to be going into the year. As for old business, I have my office hours to report. On Mondays, I'll be in the office from 12 to 5. On Tuesdays, I'll be in the office from 2 to 3:30. And on Wednesdays, I'll be in the office from 1 to 4:30, though you can pretty much find me in the office all the time. I have a booking link available on the website, and I'm working on making it so that all executives have a booking link on the website. On that topic, I would like everyone in here to use those booking links when they're up. Obviously, our office hours are semi like walk-in, and that doesn't change if there's something that you can, if you're nearby and need to stop in for a conversation. But we kind of ran into a situation last year repeatedly, where we had even senators and representatives coming in and interrupting meetings that were going on in the office. So make sure that we're there and ready to talk about what you need to talk about and are prepared to do that. Please use those as much as you can, or shoot an email, something like that. It'll just make it easier for all of us. And eventually those will be set up to kind of work around as well our executives' free time and be very convenient, hopefully for you all, by just clicking whatever time works for the both of you. And as a reminder for our executives, execs are expected to have 2 to 3 tangible goals for the year. More is obviously welcomed, but that is the standard that I'm setting, and I'll go over that a little bit more in exec tomorrow. And if you guys need any help coming with those goals, let me know. Going into new business, something that is kind of, we've been sitting on for a little bit. Sean put together last year a memorandum about the amnesty policy for the GSS review. It should have come sooner. We were waiting a few responses, but I think it's about time that you all see it. And I think that it's a good introduction to what a memorandum looks like. I think it's something that we don't actually utilize as much as maybe we could. Sean is our lawyer, which means on top of representing students, he also does kind of like legal research for us and kind of goes in through policy. So especially for our student legal representative, I think that this is something we obviously don't want to overwhelm him with, but perhaps as we kind of move into, especially working closer with the town and such, it might be a useful tool to kind of engage with depending on there's policies coming in through the university. Obviously, we're in a situation where the federal government continues to be a topic. I think that's something that we may be using more often. On that topic, next week, Sean has been putting together a memorandum since about midsummer regarding the ordinance changes, the town ordinances. He has been doing questions with the town councils, getting things answered and whatnot, so it's been taking a little bit, but he's also doing kind of research on the state end. The findings so far, at least in the conversation I'm having, they seem to be a little bit more complicated than at first. But of course, I think it's important that we kind of go through that memorandum, and because Sean wasn't here this week, we'll have him come in next week. This is kind of information for you to introduce himself and then also present this memorandum. We're also in talks of potentially trying to get Councilor Demerit here. Obviously, Lori, our advisor Sedelko, sat on the committee, so this will be, I guess I would say, come prepared to engage with that and expect to hear kind of probably conflicting opinions about what this means. Again, we're working on putting together student representatives to the implementation committee, and I'm waiting on IFC's rep, and tonight we'll be electing our Orono Town Council liaison, who hopefully will serve in that position. I'm still kind of trying to work around the change that the town council passed that requires the student who sits on this committee to be off campus, which the more I think about it, the more ridiculous it sounds. So hopefully we can work around that. Next, cabinet appointments, just cabinet in general. Tonight I'll be appointing cabinet senators. You may see on the agenda, there is executive session things already written down. You weren't supposed to see those yet. We're still learning. Luckily, it's not a big deal this time, but I have relayed that to those who need to know that that can't happen again. All cabinet members, I'm requesting stay after this meeting to do a quick cabinet, put everybody into a Google chat, and then I will drop a when to meet to kind of figure out what that time will look like. Probably on Wednesdays, most likely very early morning. It's just how the setup is. So that's all, not all executives. In fact, the VOT rep doesn't sit on cabinet, I found out. It's just not written there, so you don't actually have to go. But we're all representatives, most executives, and obviously those two mystery senators will be appointed later. And yeah, that's the end of my report.
Great. Moving on to my report. Good evening, everyone. I wanted to start by acknowledging that tonight we actually doubled our MCEC senators, which is very exciting. When I first came here 2 years ago, I was the only engineering senator, and it's just really exciting to see UMSG diversify who we represent, and so I'm really happy to see that. I've started my guest speaker series as seen when you saw it tonight. And if there are any community leaders that you guys would like to see speak here, please let me know so I can schedule that with them. I've started my check-in meetings with senators. Thank you for who have done that so far. And remember that you all need to meet with me before the end of the month. And I put my scheduling link in the Senate space. If you don't believe you're added to the Senate space, please let me know by the end of the meeting. I already wrote my goals out for this semester. I thought we were doing that for this meeting, so I'll just read them now. It's the development for the SAB boards, as I explained in the last meeting, for all colleges, because we started with the MCEC, and this is very important. I want you all to be able to interact with your deans and interact with your other students to see what problems are going on within your own colleges so you can better represent them here, but also diversify your leadership skills. Then also with services, I'll be meeting with the services chair who is going to be elected tonight. Next week, I'm going to be, I guess, co-guest speaker because I already planned it in my schedule. I'll be going over the annual call, so we're all on the same page of how that works. So far, I've been the only student sitting on the presidential space committee, and I really want everyone to understand the process fully, because this is going to be a very big leap for UMSG. And we all kind of need to be on the same page for that. Also, I'll be working with the services chairs on lighting, sidewalks, pedestrian safety, and parking. I will be scheduling a meeting with Dick Young with the services chair. I will be developing a better structure for committee chairs for accountability for the committee members who will be joining such committees, but also to better give you structure for how to run your meetings. In the past, it's just kind of been up to the committee chairs, and I think it's best if we all have one method, and that way we can have your committees go quicker. Last is for research labs on campus, more broadly advertised to prevent like pigeonholing with such positions. And for example, MCEC is having a lab open house this Friday, and I encourage all of you to go who that applies to. But that's something that I'd like to see all colleges adopt, because research is too secluded on this campus and it's hard to get into, and I don't think it should be that way. Also, I will put my office hours in the Senate chat at the 5-minute recess, so I forgot to do that earlier. I encourage you all to reach out to me or come see me in my office if you have any concerns and report. Moving on to the Vice President of Financial Affairs.
Good evening, everyone. Starting projected and allocated is $418,000. $418,596.05. We had a return to allocated from two of the tier 2 sports clubs who had originally filed their tier 1, which would be $2,686.91 from both men's lacrosse and women's soccer. We had a transfer for women's ice hockey from their travel budget into their jersey budget for sales tax. That's the end of my standard report, but I also like, just so that everybody is aware, that figure that I just mentioned does not account for any of the actual And my office hour.
Great. The Vice President of Student Organizations.
Hey guys, first of all, my office hours are going to be Mondays 10 to 12, 12:45 to 1:45. Tuesdays from 2 to 3, 5 to 6, and Thursdays 10 to 12 and 2 to 3. They're on the Google Calendar starting next week, and I'll be in the office a bunch outside of that, so if you can't make those, you need to talk to them, just let me know. Second, I must announce that the golf club has been de-recognized. They voluntarily did this. They emailed campus rec and CSI saying they have membership issues and are choosing to not be recognized anymore. I'm sorting out club storage lockers, hopefully getting labels for those so clubs can keep better track of which lockers have their stuff in there. I'm working on making sure all of our rep boards have a proper representative attending these meetings. I've talked to Steve and we should be hearing from them soon about their rep board classification. If you're a new rep as of this year and you haven't met with Pam about onboarding yet, it's crucial that you do this if you want me to be able to sign your check for this week. Finally, me and Senator Sparks spoke in front of sports club officers last week to give them the rundown on our desire to see a sports club report. At the end of our presentation, we gave them a poll for the question, would you be interested in seeing or being part of a sports club report? We got 22 yeses and 15 nos. But I want to point out that some kind of got tripped up on the wording and voted no because they felt that they didn't have time and not because they didn't want to see one. 13 people noted interest in the officer position. 1 for president, 3 for treasurer, 6 for VP, and 3 for secretary of social media. I'll be figuring out next steps for this soon. And I'm also reaching out to clubs for our very first SOC meeting this Friday at 3 p.m. So if you're planning on running for a seat, get back and to report.
Vice President of Student Entertainment.
Hello, everyone. Firstly, movie tickets are back in action. So tell all of your friends that Maine Wednesdays is back to Blackbird Cinemas. And secondly, SEC is going to be one of, if not the most important committees this year. So please show interest, tell all of your friends, because if you want to help plan concerts and shows and events on campus, it's going to be fun. And lastly, my office hours are Monday, 10 to 11 and 12 to 2, Tuesday, 12:30 to 3:30, Wednesday, 10 to 11 and 12 to 2, and Friday, 10 to 11 and 2 to 4. I never warned.
Does anyone have the report for Vice President Student Leadership? Senator Sparks.
I am reading this in first person, but this is PPSL thanks first person. Hey guys, sorry I couldn't be there tonight. I'm mourning Senator Sparks' speech. To all the current senators, please check the Senate chat and fill out your name tag information. I'm going to print them to have them ready for next week. To all the senators being sworn in today, congratulations. I'm going to be reaching out soon to schedule meetings with you all for onboarding. If you are in the audience and observing Senate, please find VP Shepherdine or President Tripp after the meeting to have your application signed or name recorded. Finally, good luck to everybody running for a position tonight. I endorse all the correct people. And my office hours will be set tomorrow.
Advisor to Student Government.
Hello, everybody. I think that probably some of you are aware that the president in the past has had Skulls and All Maine women go over to her house for tailgating prior to football games and things of that nature. She is looking to expand that to other clubs and organizations. And although Skulls and All Maine women will be there this game on Saturday, she's also looking for an additional 2 students who are involved in student organizations to be greeters at her house at tailgate at 3:15 on Saturday. And then 2 other students, different students, to be in the president's box to also be greeters. And I have a job description of kind of what that is. It's not, job description is probably more formal than it actually is, but so if you're interested in doing that, I am going to have that link, and I sent Vice President Shepherdine the wrong link, so I will send the correct link. Or you can just come over to me during break and tell me that is something that you're interested in doing, and I can send you the information about it.
Are there any questions for the speakers? President
I
Tripp.
have just more to add on to that. So These opportunities are very few and far between. And I have certainly made it a point in the last 3 years to work towards getting student leaders more in front of and kind of as a social relationship with administrators, alumni. I think that there are some of the best and brightest students in this room. This is a huge opportunity, but it is one that other organizations have kind of let slip through their hands for not committing to it and not doing it. So I would really like to see us really commit to and be a part of this. I mean, those are just fun things. Like, there's really nothing. I mean, it's super cool to be at the president's house or the box. I have gotten, VP Shelmerdine and I have gotten separate invites for these things. So I would prefer it to be anybody else than us. But if nobody else wants to do it, I am happy to fill one of those spots. But yeah, just kind of, it sounds like a little bit of almost more of like a side gig, something fun, but there's a lot of benefit to being in front of these people and reminding them that student government isn't just kind of a body somewhere, but we're awesome, cool, fun to talk to students. So that's all.
Any more questions? Seeing none, we'll be moving on to periodic reports. And as we go down, we're going to be going over the descriptions again. And then after we've gone through all that, we'll start the nomination process. Right? Starting with faculty, senate, student representative.
All right, I have no report because the first meeting for the faculty senate this semester is tomorrow, Wednesday, September 10th at 3 p.m. in Wells Conference. I believe it will also be streamed on a webinar thing. They're trying something different now. So basically, whoever is elected for this position, you sit in on these faculty senate meetings, and optionally you can be a part of their committee meetings. That could be something that you set up after filling the position. And yeah, that's basically it. And I will be helpful to get you and on the email as well.
Great, thank you.
Wait, more. And then to kind of build on that, it's every 4-ish weeks. Sometimes it's 5, depending on if there's like a break in between, but it's always 3:30 to 4:30 at Wells on a Wednesday. And this week, tomorrow, I will be attending the first 30 minutes with whoever is elected into this position to do a little bit of an intro and hello to the faculty senate. And then from there, it'll really be you. So that's it.
University of Maine Board of Trustees, student representative.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to start by just updating you on the major financial decisions that apply to our campus from this summer's board meeting in July. So the big ones from that were approval for the Boardman Hall modernization funding increase. So they're going to spend up to $10,040,000 on that. The marine culture laboratory renovation to increase resilience of Maine's aquaculture industry, spending $1,300,000 on that. The Forest Biomaterials Innovation Center has been approved for up to $7,400,000. And the Agricultural and Forest Experimentation Station laboratory modernization and expansion has been approved for up to $4,900,000. There's a board meeting this Sunday and Monday. So the public section of that is on Monday and it starts at 8:30. There's an opportunity for public comment and that starts at 8:30. There's also an opportunity for electronic public comment, and they've actually just changed this, that if you want to comment electronically by Zoom, you need to sign up and send in your report by the Friday before the meeting. So that's this Friday, just so that they have time to make sure that you get the right Zoom link and all of that is worked out. But if you want to come in person, just show up at 8. Put your name on the list and we can speak for up to 3 minutes. And this board meeting is going to be at Wells in the conference room, which is just right across the hall.
Fair Election Practices Commissioner.
Hi, everyone. I don't have anything to report other than office hours. It looks like they're gonna be on Thursday from 12 to 2.
For the student legal representative, I have this written out here. This position meets with Sean Amara, our lawyer, as often as needed to check in on what he's doing and other general information, then reports the content of those meetings back to the Senate. You're also the main point of contact between Sean and the Senate, so all legal inquiries will be asked to the legal representative. Graduate student Senate representative.
And while we're here, Derek, if you also want to introduce yourself.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Derek Camello. I am a graduate student. I'm in the history department. And my role that I serve as part of the graduate student government is a liaison officer, which basically I operate as a communicator, a bridge between this student government here, our graduate student government, and then also the graduate workers union, although that, kind of affects here less. So if you have anything, questions relating to what it means to be a graduate student, if there's anything that you happen to hear that the graduate student government is partaking in, anything at all, I'm here. I'm gonna try to be here every week as much as I can. And my email, if could that maybe be shared, that, or I can.
Sure.
Okay. And yeah, essentially that. So again, my name is Derek Camello, graduate student government, liaison officer. I'll be here for you and whatever you need.
Thank you.
And then I was the last representative to the graduate student government. That position is pretty similar to the faculty senate rep. You would just go to their meetings, which if they're the same as last year, they would be 5 p.m. on Fridays bi-weekly. And that is in Stoddard Hall. Pretty simple, you just are the liaison between the two. If they ask any questions about what's happening in undergraduate student government, you could answer their questions, and then you would report back to our Senate on what the graduate student government is.
For the Orono Town Council liaison, I'll read that position. This position sits on the Orono Town Council and works with the mindset of giving the UMaine student perspective and aiding its students. They report their work back to the Senate, plus all relevant information. The Orono Town Council meets every second and fourth Monday of each month at 5 p.m. This is an off-campus position, so access to a car is very helpful. If you have any confusion about what information is relevant, ask the president, vice president of student government, or the vice president of student leadership for clarification. For Old Town City Council liaison is pretty much the same thing, except the Old Town Council meets the first Monday of each month at 6 p.m. Military and Veteran Student Affairs representative is the liaison between NRTC, RTC, and the Veterans Lounge downstairs, where you'll be communicating with their problems in the Senate. Plus, it includes the volunteering opportunity over the summer for the Friday before Memorial Day, where you'll be assisting with Mike Smart and the fire department to replace veteran flags. Next, Director of Communications. Does anyone have his report? No. The Director of Technology.
I brought my schedule is office hours are Monday 10 to 11 and 3 to 6. On Wednesdays it's 10 to 11. On Fridays it's 10 to 11 and 3 to 6. You can book any time with me. It's already out on the website. If you have any suggestion, book a meeting, join me. Thank you.
Thank you. Center for Undergraduate Research Base. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I apologize. University of Maine Security Representative. This position keeps in contact with campus police. They also attend the Security Council, which has Zoom meetings every third Thursday of the month from 3 to 4 p.m. They address campus issues with police and other relevant contacts, and they keep in mind the safety of the student body and prioritize the betterment of our community. They also act as liaison for UVAC, which has bi-weekly meetings, which is to be determined. Center for Undergraduate Research Liaison.
For this position, you'll mainly be working with Cougar through Mindy here. You'll attend their their Cougar Advisory Committee meetings and their Symposium Executive Committee meetings, just to kind of help facilitate information being shared from those to student senate. And we'll give them the undergraduate students' opinion on all the actions they're taking.
Are there any questions?
I forgot to say, I only have one office hour and it's gonna be Wednesdays at 1, but I'm available by appointment because I don't have to move one hour and everyone's probably not.
Any more questions?
Do you remember when the meetings are?
The meetings change, they usually wait until there's somebody like elected to set their hours. So if somebody gets position, I'll give them contact with midday.
Any more questions? Seeing none, moving on to reports of standing committees, starting with policy and procedure.
Yeah, so policy and procedure is, I would say, the most powerful Senate committee in that it functions with complete jurisdiction over all governing documents of the Senate. It is essentially, the way I see it, is the one executive level committee that is entirely senator run. It does, on top of resolutions and changes that it pretty much vets all of, and most resolutions have to go through polypro by policy. They also do executive evaluations each semester, which if you don't know, at the end of each semester, the Senate evaluates each of us in our executive positions constructively as a way to do a feedback loop that is indirect and anonymous. This is something that's been done every year. On top of that, we've had a lot of kind of each year, more and more, the polypro chair takes a little bit of a larger role. And I think that we're also working on potentially having the next polypro chair lead resolution writing workshops, as well as potentially setting up our own Robert's Rules training rather than outsourcing it. And I think that BPSL thing would be very involved in both of those projects. So yeah, I think that's everything.
Great. Membership?
No, it's that.
Academic affairs?
Academic affairs is the committee that's concerned with issues that students face in regards to classwork, bright space, grading. You have a committee where you talk about these issues, when you also get to meet with the provost who's in charge of these things, to bring those issues to administrative level. And whoever wins this, I'll be in touch with the provost, so those meetings.
Academic affairs?
What?
To add on to academic affairs, this position will be picking up what is a very big project, this a huge project that I can't even, the syllabus bank project, as well as probably potentially kind of navigating what is a lot of changes in the provost office in terms of turnover and potentially, from what I may be hearing, maybe some restructuring, we'll see. So keeping kind of a tabs, not just on academic affair issues of students, but also what's going on in the provost office and coming out of it.
Services, within this committee, you'll be dealing with the annual call and trying to put forth as many funding requests as you can, for like tangible impacts on this campus. For the class.
Yeah, so as the political activism chair, last semester, I was trying to collaborate with the different political activism club presidents and leadership, and that didn't really go through too well, so there's been more of a focus on, again, on an educational standpoint. I'm working on a website, and just to like get people informed about how they can stay active on and off campus, where they can go for information about bills, things that are affecting them and stuff, stuff like that.
I just want to also stress, not that, I mean, I know you know this so much, but this position is very nonpartisan. It is to facilitate these things. I also think that this is a good year to, in terms of the way that we shifted away of what PAC used to be into more of an educational thing. I think this could be a huge chance to get involved with You Made You Vote. as kind of a liaison between that organization.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, moving on to reports of special committee, starting with student mental health.
So the position of student mental health committee might look a little different as we go into the rest of the year. As I had mentioned last week, there should be a policy coming through within the next couple of weeks to kind of present or place more structure on this committee and have a little bit more guidance on what the committee chair should be expected to do. If that passes, this position would turn into will not turn into anything that different than it is, but you would also be in more of a liaison position with the Black Bear Care Council, which is a council of representatives from across campus that are there to care about student mental health. They're really looking for student feedback, so this is a really great opportunity if you're interested in something like that. They're also there to chair the student mental health committee, obviously, and that committee is based on students' mental health and making sure that students are meeting the needs that they need to, that they know what resources are out there. This position can kind of be what you want it to be in regards to that, but it's really just keeping students connected with mental health services on campus.
And I just dropped the resolution into the chat just so that everybody can kind of see where it's going. I meant to pass this through exec. And I think I did, but I never added it to the agenda, and it should probably go through Polypro anyway, but just so everybody kind of sees. The reality is that the current committee has no structure. So even if maybe you're not for all of the changes, this isn't necessarily changed just to give it some structure. So it's not really a big deal that we don't have it passed today, I guess is what I'm saying.
Food and dining affairs.
For food and dining, it's another committee which you can take it in a lot of different directions. There's a lot of issues on campus involving food. Last semester, I primarily focused on trying to get allergies taken care of because that was a really big issue in terms of this labeling. Other issues, pressing one that I'd like to see handled next semester is communication with changes between all the dining halls and wells, bears then. In terms of what's changing, when it's changing, and where students can find those changes. But other than that, it can really go in any direction, but the primary goal is just to better the overall dining experience here on campus. Yeah.
Undergraduate student symposiums.
For this committee, you mostly work on getting the undergraduate students' point of view on the symposium. And so usually, the folks over at Kruger extended invitation to sit on their executive committee meetings. I think that's still their plan this year. But you usually also work with the Kruger liaison if they're not held by the same person to better understand what undergraduate students want at their research symposium every year and help Kruger make changes to the undergraduate student experience.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, the representative board reports, starting with computer and non-traditional students. Don't hold.
Do you want to give us an update, just where Kansas is at? Vice President.
Still trying to reach out to them. I emailed people and I never got a response.
Okay. Honors College Advisory Board.
They're also sorting out their issues soon. I talked to an exec from the work last night and I said I think you guys have them sorted by the end of the semester, very latest.
There's no report for interfraternity council or Panhellenic council. So Student Athletic Advisory Council.
Their rep knows they're supposed to be here.
Okay. Senior Class Council.
Hi everyone, our fall gala is going to be taking place on Saturday, November 8th from 8 to 11 p.m. at the Buchanan Alumni House. This event's going to be open to all students, even though it's hosted by the Senior Class Council. And our general meetings are also open to all students. If you know anyone that's interested in joining, those take place every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. in the Walker Room of Union. And then y'all are already thinking about it. There are 242 days left until graduation.
Lies to me now.
Are there any questions? Didn't like it either. Seeing no questions, moving on to community association reports, the Student Heritage Alliance Council.
Good evening, everybody. The Student Heritage Alliance Council serves as a liaison between all of the cultural clubs on campus and the student government. I'm new this year. I'm Alex Emery taking over for John Guzman, who a lot of you guys may know, big boots to fill. But this semester we have representatives tentatively from the Asian Student Alliance, ASA, the University of Maine Hillel, the French Club, the Spanish Club, and the Franco-American Resource Opportunity Group. And we're currently waiting to hear back from a couple more people and are planning to have our first meeting either on Thursday or Friday this week, depending on when works best for everybody. And there we're going to be going over what the Student Heritage Alliance Council plans for this year, how we can best support the cultural groups on campus. And start planning for the Friends and Family Feast, which will take place in November, still in the New York fall. So more details to come on that.
Thank you. Wildstein?
My primary focus for this month is building up engagement and for a new vice president. We did elect one last spring, but that person did not return to Maine this semester. This week, we are walking in on planning for coming out week, which is going to be October 6th through the 10th. We will be doing our annual coming out monologues. We're planning to collaborate with Swell on their LGBT party. And we are collaborating with Triota for a Pride March around the mall on October 10th. And fundraising for the Equality Community Center in
International Student Association?
ISA as a rep, there's a personal circumstances to them not being here this week that will be sorted out for next week. I promise I'm filling the rep work vacancy as possible.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Let's do this. That happens in the new business.
If it's a pleasure of the Senate, we'll now enter our 5-minute recess.
It's crazy.
See nothing for the consent agenda or unfinished business. We're gonna go into new business, which will be nominations, sub-speeches, and elections. The way we're gonna do this is I'm gonna go from the top of the periodic reports. And we're gonna go for nominations. Once that's done, sub-speeches, and then immediately into elections. And then while we have the votes being counted, we're going into the next one, nominations. We're just gonna go down the list. Okay? Starting with faculty senate student representative.
Currently nominated are Senators Cowan, Sparks, Malat, and Liquor.
That's
Just to clarify, what time is Lucky Senate doing?
3 to 4:30 on Wednesdays, every 4 to 5 weeks. And actually, you know what? I prepared for this moment, in fact. Just so everybody's 100% aware and nobody. The meetings this semester will be September 10th, October 15th, November 12th, and December 10th.
Senator Sparks.
I would like to rescind my nomination.
And Collins.
I would also like to rescind my nomination.
President Tripp.
I nominate Senator Soper.
I respectfully decline.
Senator Ricker.
Like nominates number second.
He's not.
He accepts.
Exactly. President Tripp.
I nominate Senator Chapin.
Second.
I respectfully decline. What is Chapin, by the way?
Chapin.
Yeah.
Senator Ricker.
What would that be? It's like point of information, who's calling nominated?
Currently nominated are Senators Malat and Liquor.
I think it's in my nomination.
President Tripp.
I nominate Senator Stewart.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Can someone please shut the door?
You got it.
What? Okay,
Currently nominated are Senators St. Pierre, Malat.
nominations.
like to nominate Senator. Second. I have to.
Any more nominations? Can you read off the list again?
Senators St. Pierre, Inman, and Villact.
Okay, Zoe's gonna walk around with,
Are you gonna do, we wanna do noms and then go back?
no,
You're gonna do noms and then speeches?
yes,
as well?
speeches.
Okay.
Yes. So, starting with some speeches for,
St. Pierre, Inman, and Villact.
okay, St. Pierre's not here, so.
Wanna go first? Or do you wanna go first?
I was actually gonna ask a question.
Sure.
What happens in theory if there is a tie in the votes?
We vote again,
What if?
and then again, and then again, and then again.
Feel like
Actually, the vice president technically could break the tie. That would be up to her.
I wish it'd be a sting, yeah. Okay.
You wanna start?
Yeah. Alright. It's one page, don't worry. I'm not a monster. Hello, UMSG, and welcome back, everybody. I've been graciously nominated for so many positions. So I try to come up with an inspirational speech and reasoning for each individual topic, rather than reusing the same one. So before sitting down on the first meeting of the semester, this is a true story, I was talking to my worst girl best friend, and she told me, Callum, you need to lock in and get out there more. Like, you're already in a lot of clubs, but you need to like hold a leadership position or something. And I replied with my good old fashioned grammar wizard sense. Absolutely. And there are many factors to consider when deciphering the most optimal opportunity to enhance my veterinary resume. But that got me thinking. Leadership and related positions make up a decent quartile of what AMBA schools look for in a resume. So I believe that it's imperative that I tap on one of those positions here at student government. If up in my current position, I am likely to be overshadowed by a more favorable candidate for veterinary schools, and I cannot afford to have that happen. I enjoyed my time reading up on the faculty senate and what they do, and I appreciated the formality it presented whilst doing so, which is a good opportunity for me to learn more. I guess as to why I'm being a fit for the role, me being a history nerd myself, and compare the role of undergraduate faculty senate representative, some sort of diplomat almost. I mean, both share the same role of communication representing the values of a party. And I like to consider myself as a relatively unbiased third party in most issues. I prefer to seek logistics and longevity of immediate gratification. I apply the same mindset here on behalf of graduate student body, and also fits perfectly with my schedule. So not only does it fit with my schedule, it helps support my future veterinary ambitions, and it can also help with the speed from further. Yay. I'm generally terrible at managing my passion emotions to an audience. I struggle with truly convening my goals and desires for things such as this, especially in front of a large audience. So when I learned last semester that I was required to take a public speaking course for the current semester, my day was ruined. But jokes aside, from the bottom of my heart, I hope you consider voting for me.
Hi, almost none of you know me. I'm Katie Kinman. I think I'd be great for this role because I am a journalism minor, which means I'm OCD with taking notes. I'm really good at talking with people and I get along great with everybody. So I think that I could possibly do really well. I'm not taking very many in-person classes this year, so my schedule is very widely open. Yeah, I hope you consider me and thank you guys.
Great, so Snake Bets is gonna walk around with pieces of paper and you're going to either be voting for Inman or Villar.
Or technically,
Or St. Pierre as well.
don't do that to us. Unless he has expressed that he can do that, we know that for sure.
Hands up if you're a senator.
My hand being like that is like 12 anymore anyway.
Then hold it up.
So I'm gonna take all this part and such.
Yeah, I realized I can't count and read it. I just really don't have. Those like that's very. I just wasn't really.
So no one makes stars instead. So not.
Okay. We'll be moving on to the student legal representatives. Nominations, can they be read out who's been nominated?
Zellog and Harvey.
I'd like to nominate Senator Stewart.
Senator Cowan. I nominate Senator Chapin.
Second.
I accept.
Any more nominations? President Trick.
I nominate Senator Balat.
Second, I respectfully decline.
President Trick.
Actually, never mind.
Okay, any more nominations for the student legal representative? Pardon me. Okay.
Okay.
Any more nominations? Can it be read out who?
Senators Chambers, Senator Stewart, and Senator Ziegler.
Some speeches, starting with Chapin.
Hey guys, I'm Senator Chapin. In the words of the great Casper Cowan, just wing it. I met our lawyer, was it Sean O'Hara, I think is how I say it. O'Hara, I'm saying it so terribly. He gives off a vibe of being kind of scary. That's kind of comes off of lawyers. I give off the vibe of kind of a big friendly giant. I'm kind of a chill guy. I would like to work very closely with him in order to further the legal services to the students. I would like to as well learn a lot from him as well, if you would allow me to. That's about all I have. Thank you.
Senator Stewart.
Less than a page, so bear with me. Good afternoon. Many of you may not know who I am, so let me take this opportunity to allow us to get acquainted with one another. My name is Dennis Stewart. I was born in Redwood, Russia, and was adopted at age 5. From then on, I've been called Bangor, Maine home. My journey to this community hasn't been an ordinary one. Being adopted meant that I was introduced to legal processes and international policy at a young age. Having experienced firsthand what it means to navigate complicated legal systems, giving me a unique perspective on fairness, accountability, and the importance of having strong advocates for your best interests. Fast forward to me standing here before you today, I am considered a non-traditional student in my second year, and I'm studying mechanical engineering technology. After serving 4 years in the United States Navy, I'm applying for this position because it's my dream to go to law school after my undergrad. In the field of law, certain paths require specialized undergrad study. For example, to practice as a patent lawyer, one must first have a technical background. That's part of why I've chosen the route I'm on. After meeting with Sean Lamara, I came away with a clear understanding of what he expects from the senator who holds the seat. I'm confident that I can be that voice, someone who ensures the student body is kept informed, engaged, and represented in matters of both present and future concerns. I hope after hearing all this, my ambition and initiative to better our school community is evident through not only my story, but also the steps I've taken to understand this position. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to serving you.
Salah.
Hello, my name is Zachary Zilog, and this is my second year in the Student Senate, and I'm running for legal representative. Working closely with Sean, our attorney, would be an amazing opportunity, not only because it will help us function better, but also because it gives me valuable experience as I prepare to enter the legal world. I'm applying to law school this winter, and I'm an active member of Pre-Law Society, so this role really lines up with my interests and goals. More importantly, I want to get more involved in the Senate and contribute in a meaningful way, and I believe this position will allow me to do that considering my interests and plans post-graduation. My goal for the semester, if I'm elected, would be to spread awareness to the student body that there is a student attorney available to assist them, considering many still aren't aware of it. Thank you, and I would appreciate your vote.
All right, now, that's everybody. Yeah, okay, I got it, okay. You will now be voting for either Zilog, Chapin. See, we used to have a chaplain, and then Stewart. So Chapin, Zilog, or Stewart. Good. See that? Look at that. I know that's from. President, either one. Up for voting, I think. So like, I know. Yes, it'd be terrible. Well, that's why we do the speeches, I would just argue.
Charles Woodson.
I don't mind.
Okay. Okay, for the faculty senate student representative. Senator Hinton. We'll now move on to the graduate student senate representative.
Currently nominated, Senator DeLore.
Senator Moore.
Currently nominated, Innovative.
Senator Rickard.
Chocolate? Second.
See, no, I screwed you up. Second, do you accept?
I didn't hear that, sorry. I respect the law.
Any more nominations? President Trick.
I nominate Senator Cowan.
I respectfully decline because I have much of it.
Senator Rickard.
I nominate Senator Ballet.
Second. Ayes. Compulsively, I respectfully decline.
Any more nominations? Senator Sparks.
I nominate Senator Grady.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Senator Rickard.
I nominate Senator Stubble. I accept.
Senator Cowan.
I nominate Senator Banquet.
I respectfully decline.
Any more nominations? You read the nominations.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I nominate Senator Elliott. Second.
Senator Cowan.
I nominate Senator Soper.
That's all.
I respectfully decline. Any more nominations? Okay, Keating, can you please read off the nominations?
Will you raise your hand if you're nominated? Thank you.
Any more?
Senator Stewart.
President Trick.
I nominate Senator Palomar. Second.
Exactly, fine. Thank you.
Senator Sparks.
I nominate Senator Harvey.
Second. I suppose.
Senator Cowan.
I nominate Senator Kearns.
Second.
I respectfully decline. Senator Harvey.
I've got a question.
When is the meetings?
5 p.m. on Fridays,
Bi-weekly, 5 p.m. on Fridays.
bi-weekly.
In Stoddard Hall.
Stoddard Hall.
You still have. Okay. Nominations are currently Stewart and Harvey. Any more nominations? Seeing none, oh, President Trent.
I am going to ask that Senator Blatt reconsider.
I didn't prepare a speech.
Okay.
I'm not too good at that stuff. I don't know if I.
You can respectfully decline again.
Read the old one, but just change the name.
That's not how it works. I put my soul specifically in that one particular subject. I couldn't just change it. I'd still like to decline.
Okay,
The time doesn't run.
great. Any more nominations? Not some speeches, starting with Senator Stewart.
Just being honest, I forgot how to say no, so I said yes. So please vote for Senator Harvey.
Does Senator Stewart rescind his nomination?
Respectfully, yes.
Some speech from Senator Harvey.
Just feel free to vote for me if you want to. Well.
Oh, well, you're the only one, so congratulations.
Yeah.
For the student legal representative. Congratulations, Senator Stewart. Moving on to. Yes, the Orno Town Council Liaison.
Just taking sometimes. Okay, currently nominated is Senator Kearns.
Any more nominations?
I would like to rescind my nomination. Oh my God.
Bro.
Senator Cowan.
I nominate Senator Chapin.
Second. Respectfully, is that's a off campus, right?
Yeah.
I have no way off this campus.
Okay. Any more nominations? Senator Cowan.
I nominate Senator Soper.
I respect. Senator Sparks.
I nominate Senator Longstreth.
Second.
President Tripp.
I nominate Senator Inman.
Second.
Respectfully declined. P.P. Thompson.
I nominate Senator Sparks.
Second.
Due to a time overlap, I respectfully decline.
Senator Harvey.
Respectfully decline. That's fine.
President Tripp.
You don't, never mind.
Can we have a reminder on when what time is? Sorry.
It is on a Monday at 5. But not all Mondays.
Is Orono Monday?
They're both Monday. Like,
Both of them are Monday. They're in the packet.
Oh, right, 5 and 6, that's it. Yeah.
The second and fourth Monday of each month at 5. The second and fourth Monday of each month. Senator Cowan.
Point of information, is there a way we can get people to raise their hand if they live off campus, like who could we? Awesome, because you have to live off campus to make a meeting order.
No, if that's for the appointment to the, I'm working on not being a thing.
I just wasn't sure where that.
Yeah.
Alright, never mind, sorry.
That being said, I will sit here and go down the list of senators over and over again. We need this position filled tonight.
Senator Sparks.
I nominate Senator Blatt because I have full confidence that he will be very good at his roles.
Second.
Second.
That's a big responsibility. I accept.
Any more nominations? Senator St. Lawrence.
Senator Elliott. Second.
Question, so this object can be on campus?
Yeah.
Yes.
I accept.
Great. Any more nominations? Okay, so speeches starting with Bob.
I don't have a speech prepared, I feel like I'm not right now, I feel pretty sneaky about it. I guess just, but for me, if you feel like I'd be good in this position, I guess it would be nice. I don't really know exactly what the position entails, I haven't necessarily done any research on it. But I guess I'd be willing to learn.
Thank you. Senator Elliott.
I'll be brief. So while I was in high school, I was on my school board, the district school board. And I worked with the town councilors from 3 neighboring towns, their school district. I was actually able to get all 3 of the town managers together in the same room for my senior project. So I have some experience, working. That's also. That's about next.
You up to get a paper and you're voting for Black or Elliott.
I didn't never. Yeah, that's what really kind of. I just they won't do it, and I was like, fine. I was like, I like how this done so good.
Oh, well, I have to find you.
You're saying.
You're standing hard. Would you tap?
Yeah, I was part of this.
No, it's my fastest to be. Not for anyone else. I don't know how to mine too fast.
Okay, moving on, we're going to Old Town City Council Liaison.
Currently nominated, Senator Kearns.
I can think there's that right already. Senator Pierre.
No, St. Lawrence.
No, State Lawrence, sorry.
Nominated Senator Elliott, second.
I accept.
Any more nominations? There's first.
I nominate Senator Black for the same reasons.
I graciously accept.
Any more nominations? Some speeches?
Starting with Elliott.
For all the same reasons as Orno, except Colton.
Same here.
You rescind your nomination?
That's what he said. He said same year.
Oh, I thought, okay. I'm sorry, I thought you said something. Oh, so sorry. Okay, Senator Quick.
You're saying same here.
You hear it from yourself. I've had so much nerves. Really anxious. So that was it. By that, you ever showed up again?
Well, he looked at my door. He looked at my door and read it to me like after that happened.
Then he bottles in jail.
Okay, for the Old Town City Council Liaison. Or no. Senator Elliott. Next, we'll be moving on to the Military and Veteran Student Affairs Representative.
Currently nominated is Senator Vanderwood.
Senator Murphy.
I'd like to nominate Senator Stewart. Second.
I accept.
Any more nominations? Okay, some speeches starting with
Vanderwood.
Vanderwood.
Everybody, Gray Vanderwood. I'm interested in this position because when I was sitting in for my sit-in meeting last year, I saw VP Shelmerdine get this and it's been on the top of my mind ever since. I have a great respect for our military and our veterans. I have some active or some post-active or some non-active military members of my family. And I just think it'd be an awesome opportunity. I would like to, after college, I'd like to work with DoD. So it's kind of related. And I asked for advice this summer from VP, and she suggested advertisements. So that's my biggest plan, is to make sure whatever events they have, we get it across the school. So thank you.
Hello again. If any of you are like me, you've already forgotten my name, so let me introduce myself. Dennis Stewart. I'm a mechanical engineering technology student. I'm an ideal candidate for this position because before coming to college, I served in the United States Navy. I enlisted in July of 2020 and was honorably discharged July of 2024. During my time in the military, I was an AV for all the non-military people. That's an aviation machinist me. I worked on jet engines for one of the nuclear deterrence squadrons for the United States. Through my service, I developed respect for past and present and future service members, and believe this is an opportunity to pursue my aspirations to build myself as a student, while also staying connected with future and present service members. I believe that through my service and aspirations to better myself, as not only a veteran, but also as a student, such a position allows me to tie my personal morals along with professional development, being a voice to advocate for future and present veterans. Thank you.
Okay, you'll be voting for Vanderwood or Stewart. For the Old Town City Council liaison. Senator. Okay. Moving on to the University of Maine Security Representative. Or nominee.
Currently nominated are Senator Vanderwood, Senator Stanford, and Senator Kearns.
Senator Sparks.
I nominate Senator Inman.
Second. I
Graciously accept.
Senator Khan.
I nominate Senator Chapin.
I accept.
Senator James. I would like to present my nominations. Any more nominations? You read up the list again?
Senators Vanderwood, Stanford, Inman, and Chapin.
Okay, some speeches starting with Vanderwood.
Hi guys, similar kind of reasoning as last one, last year when I sat in here was another one that really stood out to me that I wanted to run for. One of my biggest priorities is, on college campus, currently, there's been a lot of swatting. People can go on the dark web and hire international people to call in SWAT threats to or to colleges across the country. That's an issue going on right now, and I want to work with the police to see if we have anything in place for that, along with obviously mass shootings are a horrible issue right now, and I want to make sure the school has the best plans for those to keep everybody safe, because that's what I care about.
Stanford.
I'd like to rescind my nomination and endorse Senator Vanderwood.
You got it. Inman.
Hi, everyone. I'm gonna start off with a quick icebreaker because I know we all love those. My name is Haley Inman. I'm a sophomore English major with a minor in journalism, and when I was little, I wanted to be a race car driver. So looking with the work that Vice President Shelmerdine carved out for us last year, trying to fix streetlights on campus and successfully establishing herself as the first Union student government rep on UVAC's cabinet, strengthening their relationship with administration. If I get this position, I have huge shoes to fill. So does anybody else. But I think the big takeaway is that the streetlight issue was not resolved. VP Shelmerdine's funding request was unconsidered, and along with the ability to report broken lights on the Blackbird Safe app, it didn't get accepted. It didn't happen. This needs to be pressed on until it's taken seriously. I also want to expand on this position to cover Title IX and security, because people do not recognize the security risks of filing an order. On that point, I have changes I'd like to work with the Office of Title IX with. After filing a case last year myself, I was told that UMPD wouldn't take me seriously. They were mistaken. Lieutenant Santiago reached out to me with concern, care, and extreme seriousness from my Campus Eyes report, but not everyone's going to report on Campus Eyes and Title IX. They'll only report on Title IX because it's the only one that we advertise all the time, so the message is not going to get to UMPD. Whether or not it is important enough to report to UMPD should not be on just Title IX and the student in crisis. It should be up to UMPD. This is why I want to make sure that students are being heard. Having an available officer rep from UMPD sit in on every report-related meeting could help students feel taken more seriously, and also give UMPD firsthand availability to decide how urgent that student's matter is. This could also help fix the gap of communication we have between these two organizations. Thank you for your consideration.
And Chapin.
Hey guys, I'm Senator Chapin. One of my majors is international affairs, and specifically on security policy. That is security on the macro level. This is more on the micro level, and I would be willing to learn what security challenges that the campus faces and how to address them. That also put in my application into UVAC, which the security representative also meets with. So I would hope that any dealings with UMPD and UVAC, I would have close dealings with both and be able to address any issues on campus. In my short time on campus, I've also come into contact with people who have had to use Title IX services, and they haven't been very pleased with the result. Let's just say I want to work towards fixing that. However, by any means necessary, and I'm willing to learn how to do that, if you will elect me to such. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll be voting for Vanderwood, Inman, and Chapman. Chapman. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
While we're handing out the papers, I'd like to announce the military and veterans representative. Sure. Does everyone have their votes in? All right, we'll be moving on to the Center Undergraduate Research Liaison.
Pratty, Delorme.
Senator Cowan,
I nominate Senator Chapin.
Second.
I accept.
any more nominations? Senator Moore? Senator Cowan,
I nominate Senator Elliott.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
any more nominations? Okay,
We have, Pratty, Delorme, Chapin.
okay, some speeches are in credit.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ethan Craddy. I'm a physics major with a minor in astronomy. I would like to uphold the position of Cougar representatives because as somebody who's currently looking to uphold a research position in the physics department in the first building. I think it makes sense for someone for the position to be doing undergraduate research, and I think it would be a lot easier to get undergraduate research opinions if you're also doing undergraduate research. So,
Laura?
This is not, I'm Senator Delorme. I'm a mechanical engineering major, my sophomore year. This is not one of the positions I've prepared a speech for, because I'm not particularly interested in research yet. But I think this could be a position I could get my foot in the door to a background in research. So, I would definitely endorse Senator Craddy because I think he's already got that foot in the door and he's ready for it, so. Whichever way you want. Thank you.
Senator Chapin?
In a similar vein to the last speaker, I am also interested in undergraduate research. However, I'm also recognize I'm not doing any currently. So I will also endorse Senator Craddy as well, but also if you'd like to vote for me, go ahead.
Okay, you'll be voting for Patty, Delorme, and Chapin. I'd like to announce the security representative.
He seems upset.
Moving on to standing officials, starting with policies and procedure.
Currently nominated Senator Sparks and Senator Blatt.
Any more nominations? No. Okay, some speeches, starting with Senator Sparks.
Hi, I'm Senator Sparks. I worked a lot with Polypro and their committee last semester, and honestly, I have a very great interest in Polypro. It was one of my favorite committees that I worked with last semester. I worked a lot on the Constitution last semester, reading it line by line and going through all of the grammatical errors with President Tripp and our then Polypro chair, BPSL Banks. It took a while, but I actually really enjoyed it. Picking out all of the small little details that a lot of people would miss was actually very entertaining for me. I have a lot that I want to do with this position, such as the Roberts Rules session. I would also like to rope in whoever wins pro tempore, as well as our president, who was also vice president at one point, and our current vice president, Cynthia Schomerdijk, as she's currently chairing. Other than that, I would also like to go through our standing rules. Once again, I found a couple things that just weren't updated. Just looking through them in the past couple days, as well as we found a couple inconsistencies in the Constitution last year where they weren't actually grammatical errors, so we couldn't actually change them. But this year I would like to go through and fix all the redundancies in our Constitution, as well as add some of the stuff that we actually do and are important to our student government. Please vote for me. Thank you.
Senator Black.
Thinking about it, I was also at Baldwin Road sometimes. I wasn't there as much as Hazel because they ran out the State Century Academic Club. However, through my time, I have recognized Hazel's dedication and I admire her commitment to the position. So I'd like to endorse her. I no, but vote Hazel. Great.
Okay. Hazel or Black? Or Roberts? Or Black?
I mean, if sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't believe anybody was named senator. It's crazy. It's like a requirement.
Very good. So liaison? Senator Patty. Yeah. It's not. Okay, moving on to academic affairs.
Currently nominated Senator Kern, Senator Collmore, Senator Sparks, and Senator Van Beek.
Senator Ricker.
I'll nominate myself. Second. Five Sarah.
Any more nominations? Okay, STEM speeches, starting with Kearns.
Good evening. The average college student spends 15 hours a week in class and another 15 hours studying. That's nearly the equivalent of a full-time job. By the end of the week, students are exhausted, drained, and burnt out. And what happens if their academic needs in advising, teaching, or curriculum aren't meeting them? That's where academic affairs becomes critical. I believe we can do better. I've always been surrounded by academic environments, from honor societies in high school to being accepted to our 5% nursing program. This year, I'm a teaching assistant for 2 classes, which gives me a first-hand perspective on how faculty teach and how students learn. I built strong connections with faculty across departments, and I understand both the institutional side and the student experience. As chair, I will advocate for stronger academic advising, a curriculum that reflects both rigor and relevance, thank you, and teaching that is inclusive, innovative, and responsive to student feedback. Academic affairs isn't just about policy, it's about people. It's about making sure every student feels supported, challenged, and prepared for the future. I'm ready to lead with empathy, experience, and action, and I hope to gain your support.
Senator Ballmore.
Hi, so I would also say in a similar vein, I have connected with a lot of faculty over my time here, more specifically in the College of Arts and Sciences, but also in my time working at the Advanced Urban Project Center. I connected with a lot of engineering professors, and political science and history. And weirdly, a lot of other groups of people work at ASEC from bio to geology. So I have a lot of those connections as well. Also with some other universities do another role I have there. But I have a lot of the same points written down that he said, so I'm gonna try to think of some new ones. But I would say it's definitely a people oriented thing, like obviously we do a lot of policy stuff. I've had a lot of time to work with some of the provosts in the past on certain events that I have held. And also just like in interviews and stuff that I've done for the president's office and things like that. So I would love to continue my role working with those individuals. I have a lot of ideas on what I can bring to the table with them that I have brought up at some of our discussions with the provosts in the past. So I would love to make some of those a reality, working to make, obviously classes are never going to be a stress-free environment. More and more people have anxiety, but working on ways to work through those issues, not the issues, but work through those conditions, and make it a safer and more productive environment. Good.
Sparks. Senator Sparks. Hi, I'm Senator Sparks. I want this position mainly because I have a deep vendetta against all classes being scheduled from 11 to 12:15 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's seriously inconvenient. That is something I'd like to work on. However, that is also something that anybody in this position can work on. And if you deem that someone is more qualified for this position, I will of course pull all of my resources and all of my ideas into that person and join the committee. I also worked as a faculty senate rep for a semester, and I ended up joining the faculty academic affairs committee during that time, which Senator DeLorme continued last semester. That was a really interesting time period because it gave me a view of the academic affairs from actual teachers and professors, which was very interesting on the difference in perspective between how we see our classes. I also think it'd be interesting if we had a QR codes and polls just to kind of keep track on the student opinion in our academic, and also I have this issue, please help me solve it poll with regular tabling. But once again, of course, this can be done by anybody. So by all means, if you think someone else is more will be better at this position, I will 100% help with that person with all of my ideas.
Senator Vinci.
Hi everyone, my name is Sky Manby. I think I'd be a good fit for this role because I am a marine science major, but I have a concentration and 2 minors through that, which means that I have gone through 2 processes with the university to get those. As well as I'm in the honors college, and I know the way that they do their classes right now is kind of changing. So I think it'd be really interesting to meet with them, talk about that. As well as I work for admissions, so I've been able to meet with people from every single college on campus, as well as advisors, and I'm able to meet with new students. So I think I have a very good perspective, I guess, for this position. That's all. Good.
Senator Ricker.
Okay, I see a lot of new faces. So hello everyone, my name is Kyle Pickle. If those who don't know me, I'm a political science education major, and I really badly want this position. Previously, it was held by a bunch of my friends, so I literally went for that. But now it's available, I really want it. So some things that make me uniquely qualified for this position. I know that after I graduate, I'm going to work in academic affairs education policy. I previously worked in education nonprofit, I worked in the main part of education as an internship. And on campus, I've done a bunch of other partnerships that make me uniquely suited this role. For instance, this semester I'm a mentor. So what that entails is I'm basically a TA for new people coming in, and I actively help them around that. I've also previously, similar to sports in Redwood, I've been in the faculty senate academic affairs committee. The time I was in the academic affairs committee up there, what they're looking at was student retention. So we research on student retention, and a lot of the results that we got from them got contributed into what eventually became the ROE program. So I think I'm someone who's like uniquely qualified for this, and also I really want to see through the service bank project. And something from comments since I was a freshman here, and every single year we get closer, but it'd be nice to finally see if we can have something to publish to the student body. So I hope you all still vote for me. I really wanted to see through the service day contract. It's my senior year. I want something like that to go out to the student bodies. Thank you for your time.
All right, please vote for either Senator Kearns, Collmore, Sparks, Van Beek, or Ricker. I share your frustration with this vote. I have whole comments in the back of the Senate ready to go, so that I've seen it. It's so much to do, so I
Our new chair for Poly Pro. Senator Burns.
Speaking, it's inconsistent. Well, then I thought maybe wrong. That's why you want that.
Yeah. Yeah, so great amount.
love to the constitutional amendment. And maybe we are. So, no, I mean, it's not so really exact. I already.
All right, moving on to services.
Currently nominated Senator St. Lawrence.
Senator Collins.
I nominate Senator Chapin.
I'm respectfully decline.
President Tripp.
I nominate Senator Inman.
I respectfully decline.
Senator Sparks.
I nominate myself.
Second.
I accept.
Senator Collins.
I nominate Senator Soper.
Second.
I respectfully decline. Any more nominations? Okay.
Let's start with St. Lawrence.
Hello, everyone. Great to be back another semester of government. For those of you new here, my name is Ryan St. Lawrence. This is my second semester as a senator for MCEC. Last semester, I was involved in the service committee quite a bit, working with Shelburne on how we can improve services on campus. If I'm elected as services committee chair, I would love to continue the progress made towards accessibility and hopefully tackle the annual call with VP Shelburne. I've noticed quite a few accessibility improvements that were made over the summer, such as the some of the sidewalks finally getting more painted and noticeable. That's great. But I would really like to continue this positive direction and also direct some focus towards maintaining and improving our services such as feedback, outlet, and parking, hopefully. I know that's the hardest one. An additional goal I'd like to add to this committee is further advertisement of ways students can reach out about issues they notice in their day-to-day lives on campus. So yeah, thank you for your time and consideration.
Does anybody have a USB-C charger I could borrow? Thank you. And with that, actually hand me your charger and then do your substitution. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Senator Sparks. I am very interested in the services position. I think that it's a very interesting role where I believe it's the closest that you get to physical change that is very quickly being able to see, and I think that's a very interesting prospect. Our Vice President Shomerdine did so much with this role last year, built it up from so little and made it so big, and made it now one of the most important committees that we have. And I would really like to take that and run with it. I think that this is a crucial committee that all students should have access to, and I would really want to advertise it as much as humanly possible, because this is a very direct route where students can submit requests, and we are also students, and so we will send it through as soon as humanly possible, and that is my goal. I really want to make it a very accessible committee, not just for student government, but for everybody else, which would also help with advertising our own student government and hopefully bring in some more people, which we could use. There are so many parts of services that I find interesting, not only the annual call, which is a very interesting prospect, as there is a lot of money going into that, and there's a lot that we can do with that money. There are also smaller requests that we can put in, such as everyday items, like the lighting problem, which tyrannizes us all. And I also want to table regularly just to get feedback from students on issues throughout the campus that need to be solved, and can be now that we have this services committee all set up.
Please vote for St. Lawrence or Sparks. And
Our new academic affairs chair. Senator Rickard.
some people here to be senators. Senators, I believe anyone.
No, he's right.
Someone's not going.
Okay, because it was 20. Are we moving on to political activism?
Oh, sorry. Okay. Currently nominated Senator Collmore and Senator Vanderwood.
Senator Cowan,
I nominate Senator Chapin.
Second. I accept.
any more nominations? Senator Rickard,
I nominate Senator Howard.
Second.
Oh, Cowan? Oh, I respectfully decline.
any more nominations? Okay, some speech starting with.
Collmore.
Hi, everyone. I apologize. I have a little bit of a longer speech, but I'm really excited about this role here. So I realized last time I didn't talk about anything that I did on campus, which was a mistake. So not only did I chair this committee last year, but I am also a political science major, a history major, and I have a minor in classical studies and maybe religious studies. I'm floating it past my advisor. And I've also been involved in the past in Model UN and Model State Government, as well as in multiple things with the Maine Health Representatives, helping one of my friends get a bill through, which is about to pass a little bit, and all other stuff there as well. Last semester, I worked really hard to get a more prominent place in student government with this committee and to cooperate with political clubs on campus. Last semester, I also began the process of making a website for the committee on the UMSG page to give information about political process, how to stay informed and involved, and more, which I'm still working on. I have been writing more of that the last couple of days, and I did that a lot instead of doing my job. So, while my attempts to cooperate with the political clubs were mostly unsuccessful for reasons which I shared last semester, the website writing has been progressing smoothly over the last semester and the summer. My primary focus this semester alongside the website will be an educational campaign surrounding how we can be involved and informed on and off campus. And that won't just be through the website. I want to focus on bills that we should pay attention to, reputable places to find information, calling your local and national representatives to get legislation through or on other things, and understanding what issues affect us as students and citizens of the United States. Overall this year, though, my goal is to make political engagement more acceptable and less intimidating to students on campus. While the website is the first step of that, I would also hope to table and potentially run short workshops. This committee, like UMSG, will remain nonpartisan as is required and focused on education, student empowerment, and participation. I'm excited to continue this work, and I'd be grateful for your support and collaboration as we go forward with the committee. Thank you.
Vanderwood.
Hi, everybody again. I'm interested in running for this position, because I was brought up in a very, politically active family. My mom was a chief of staff for a while, and now she's a lobbyist. My dad had ran for county treasurer, 2 years and won. So I have helped with him campaigning and such. I also spent the summer helping one of my, former coaches, run for selectman, except for when I asked him what kind of campaign ideas he wanted. He didn't want like his picture anywhere. He just simply wanted vote on this date. So I made those, posted them around the town. It was the biggest voting turnout we've ever had for a town selecting board. So I just want to continue that same type of energy here, make sure people are informed, educated. Fortunately, I don't have any plans for a website, Senator Elmore, but I'd say I endorse him and I'd like to work closely with him, so thank you.
Yeah, it's Chapin.
Hey guys, me again. In a similar vein to the other two speakers, I am also no stranger to politics or activism. My family was very political growing up on opposite ends of the spectrum. Surprised how that marriage worked out. I've been very active in my community since high school, necessarily since I was part of the GSA, although you might think that might not necessarily be a very political position. At least where I was, it ended up having to be. I've had to keep up with a lot of bills. I've had to keep up with a lot of what the school board had been doing. I've been keeping up a lot of local, federal, state laws. And I've kind of realized not a lot of people are very educated about these issues. They don't know where to go to find out more about these issues. I've worked a lot with organizations like Democracy Maine and the Maine People's Alliance in doing community outreaches, trying to figure out what the problems there have been. And one of the big issues has been lack of understanding of how to get in contact with representatives, how to speak out on the problems that people are having. And I feel like that if I'm elected to this position, I can do more to educate people on how to educate themselves and educate people on how to speak out on the issues that they are extremely passionate about. Thank you.
Please write down Senator Chapin, Collmore, or Vanderwood. Connor.
Our new services chair, Kate Lawrence.
Here's our super question. What?
Okay.
I would like to motion to suspend the rules and add a 5-minute recess right now. Because I have to go to the bathroom, but I still need to vote and I would like to be an informed voter and hear everybody's speeches.
Do I hear a second?
So now that's
Hearing a second,
debate.
hearing a second, we'll now enter discussion. Any discussion?
Please.
That would be debate.
That'd be debate.
All of that,
Any debate?
please.
Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed?
Okay, this time.
Yes.
All abstaining? Seeing a clear majority in the affirmative, that passes. We'll reconvene at. Okay.
Yeah. We are at, did we announce PAC? No. No, but we announced services. All right.
Collmore.
Now moving on to mental health. Currently nominated are Senator Cowan and Senator Kearns, and keep in mind that resolution that's currently sitting in the Senate chat. And if anybody, I realize, it's just a resolution that'll change the committee, not a big deal.
Senator Kearns?
Right.
I would like to extend my nomination and go Senator Calvin.
Any more nominations?
And somebody drawn out a whole speech.
Senator Bricker,
I would like to nominate myself.
Second.
you accept?
Yeah, myself.
Okay. Great, Some speeches. Senator Cowan.
Thank you. So hi, everybody. If you don't know me, which some of you definitely don't, my name is Casper Cowan. This is my third semester in student government. I'm a fourth year here at the University of Maine. I am a double major in psychology with a concentration in developmental and women's gender sexuality studies with a minor in interdisciplinary disability studies. I believe a previous speaker in his words said, and to quote the great Casper Cowan, just wing it. Fun fact about me, I actually don't wing anything, and the mental health committee is one of those things. I have the privilege of being its chair last semester, and I had the privilege of sitting on it the semester before that. Mental health is a passion project of mine. I have plans one day to restructure the entire mental health system in the state of Maine, but that is for a much later date than today. I have so much reach and experience working within student life in my 4 years here. I am currently the president of a club. I do so much on campus, and I'm looking to do so much more with this club, or not with this club, but with this committee. And I guess this point is mute because I think that Senator Ricker is going to rescind his nomination in 5 seconds, but thank you for listening to my speech.
Senator Ricker.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a state opposition candidate for this position. I'd like to submit my nomination.
Congratulations, Senator Cowan. We'll move on to, or sorry, I'm totally hijacking you. Yeah, you go.
Moving on to food and dining affairs.
Currently nominated are Senator Collmore, Senator Kearns, and Senator Blatt.
Any more nominations? Seeing none, starting with some speeches.
Collmore.
Omar.
Hello again, this is a shorter speech, so kind of long. As you all know, food and dining is one of the most common concerns and complaints that we hear from the student body. That's not just within student government, but on a daily basis. My friends talk about it, I'm sure your friends do if they eat on campus. From the quality and availability of meals to making sure there are real options for students with dietary needs like gluten-free and vegan that doesn't just come in a pre-packaged bag. Like my mother, who could only have a muffin in a bag for a sweet option earlier today because it's all we have. To simply feeling like our voices are heard when we raise concern. These are just some of the many issues that we have heard over the past few years. If elected to chair this committee, I plan to continue the work started by the previous chair, Ryan, in collaboration with him, as he has asked. He laid out really important groundwork for discussion with Sodexo, and while I understand it is really difficult, I plan to continue those discussions and work with him to see through these ideas while also pushing new priorities and making a deeper connection with mental health services. I fully believe that students shouldn't feel like they're stuck with limited or inadequate quality food options when they are paying often upwards of $6,000 a year for food. Having continually new and better looking options is great, but having quality food is a huge concern for students, myself included. I want this committee to be a strong advocate and move for change that students truly want to see to make dining on campus something that works for everybody and feels like what they paid for. Thank you, and I hope you vote for me.
Kearns.
Good evening. I'm sorry this is gonna be a little long. It's my third time running and I'm very dedicated to this position. So becoming a nurse, I've pledged myself to take care of people for the rest of my life. One of the most basic yet powerful forms of care is nutrition. I've taken 2 semesters of food and nutrition classes and even though 100 in both those courses. A study by the Alabama at Birmingham found diets high in sugar and saturated fats may impair memory and even reduce brain volume in parts of our brain responsible for learning and regulating emotions. Last year, a student posted that one of their dining hall meals contained 9 grams of saturated fat, almost an entire day's worth in a single meal. Instances like this are unacceptable when students are paying thousands of dollars for their meal plan. It isn't just about health, but equity too. Athletes with demanding training schedules often don't have the nutrient-dense options they need to recover and perform. Students with religion dietary restrictions, such as those who keep halal or kosher or avoid certain foods, often find very limited or no options available to them. And vegans and vegetarians and other in the umbrella frequently struggle to find filling, balanced meals instead of just a side salad or french fries. I've sat on the FDA committee when Nate Fang was chair, and we were able to change the portions in the bears event to increase. As FDA committee chair, I work closely with Sodexo and key members of the dining team, including Matthew Legal, who spoke last year about his commitment to student feedback. His dedication to listening to our campus community is exactly the kind of partnership we need. I plan to collaborate with Sodexo to try to expand dining hall hours so students with late classes or evening commitments aren't left without real meal options like Just Sal's Pizza and a bag of Lay's from the Amazon store. I will push for them to add more options as I listed in my previous paragraph. Labeling needs to be explained better. They have pictures, but don't explain too much about what they mean. So I'm asking for your vote, not just for me, but for a healthier, more inclusive, and more transparent dining experience for all of us at Maine. Thank you.
And Senator Blatt.
So I actually don't need a paper for this because I just know like everything here. So my time studying agriculture, I have come across a wide variety of books and stuff like that to read. And I'm really big into nutrition. And something I've noticed is that most of the options on this campus, whether York or Hilltop or the other places, do not offer adequate daily nutritional options. So I consider all the vitamins and minerals that we consume on a day-to-day basis to be in a sort of clock formation. All the vitamins, say vitamin A, vitamin E, all of these, thiamine, etc., they all operate on a clock. Even the non-federally observed ones like scandium or selenium, even like selenium, even boron, they all work around the clock, empowering the human body on a day-to-day basis for maximum metabolism and optimum nutrition. And when I'm looking for a boron dense meal, I often find that there are not many options. And I like to consume a lot of protein because I do work out. And I noticed that there are often not a lot of high protein based meals on campus. So my plan, if I were to be elected to the position, would be to sort of revamp this whole nutritional output. I'd like to work with Sodexo to see what we can do to try to improve our options and create more widely available options for everything. I'm not really explaining this very well, but it's all in my brain. I'm just like, when I try to put it out, it's just like a low block in the back of my throat. But I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say here. Basically, I try to do my best to try and optimize the nutritional output on campus.
Right, please vote for either Senator Collmore, Kearns, or Blatt.
Okay, moving on to the undergraduate student symposium.
Currently nominated Senator Craddy, Senator St. Lawrence, and Senator Lamadrid.
Senator St. Lawrence.
I'd like to rescind my nomination.
Noted.
Great. So, just Senator Craddy. Any more nominations? All right, congratulations. The last one, Sergeant at Arms.
No.
What?
And then we have EDC, SOC, SEC, pro tempore, and executive session. So if we wanted to move this a little quicker, we could.
No.
No, it's okay. I'm being facetious. We can take as long as you want. Okay, nominated Senator Blatt, Senator Ricker, and Senator Van Beek.
Senator Kearns.
This is a question, can I ask?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want us to explain like membership for the new people or like,
Oh,
cause we did not do that.
yeah, give a quick rundown.
Okay,
In the
so-
position.
So basically, Gardner, this is gonna be combined with everything last semester. You basically just have to buy food every week. You get provided with money from yeah. Yeah, so for example, like that, and this is, and then you also have to do the sergeant at arms responsibility, so you're combining it.
Yeah, Sergeant Arms, it's pretty straightforward. We take care of the flags and take response and excuse people from the meetings if they're being disorderly or they're being for executive session or anything. Yes.
Yeah, so we have to do 50 push-ups. You want that part of that time?
Yeah.
And whoever becomes sergeant at arms is gonna, we need just another paper song. We've had music the other day, we love that.
Yeah.
Ah,
It's kind of weird situation.
anyway.
100% my own motion.
Any more nominations? Senator Van Deen.
I would also like to receive.
Currently nominated is Senator Black.
Senator Sparks.
I would like to nominate Senator Chapin.
Second.
I respectfully decline.
Senator St. Lawrence.
Nominate Senator Stewart.
Second.
I accept.
Any more nominations? Senator Sparks. Senator Kearns.
Would like to nominate Senator Vanderwood.
Second. I respectfully decline.
Like nominate Senator Silver.
Second.
Any more nominations? No.
Nah. Okay, currently nominated Vilat, Stewart, and Soper. Vilat, if you would like to begin stump speaking.
Okay, good time to shower. I guess I would like to continue off my nutritional output. I make sure to provide the best meals with loads of trace minerals. Like, I bet y'all are really craving some manganese. And boron and selenium and loads of omega-3s. But basically, I like to provide the best foods for everyone. Yummy foods, not gross food. Maybe I'll hold a poll or something and say, hey, y'all want, like, what are we feasting on? And whatever the other responsibilities that come with the position, I'll make sure to do the very best at it and whatnot. But yeah. Peace.
Thank you. Senator Stewart.
Hello again, I can do 50 push-ups, so that'll be really cool. I actually really love the opportunity to respectfully kick one of you out, respectfully. And I would also pick up, clean up, and probably get not the healthiest food, but food we all love.
So.
Hi, I'm Julia Silver. I cannot do 50 push-ups. But I do think it would be quite humorous to have someone as tall as me kicking someone out of a meeting. I think that would be quite funny. I would like input on food and I just really like to be involved in this.
All right, please vote for either Senator Vilat, Stewart, or Soper. And is it Soper?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
You should go to I thought it was funny that I could see it in the youth thing. I mean,
The new student dining chair.
Should we start that?
Yeah.
All right, next we have EDC. There are 4 available positions. You will be writing down 4 separate names. Currently nominated, Senator Ricker, DeLorme, La Madrid, Cowan, Zilog, Stanford, St. Lawrence, Craddy, and Sparks. Do we have any further nominations?
Senator Ricker.
And point of information for the Vice President of Financial Affairs, when is EDC? 4 o'clock on Monday. All right.
Any more nominations?
There's a nomination.
You bet.
Any others? Okay, some speeches.
Some speeches starting with DeLorme.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Senator DeLorme and I'm a mechanical engineering major. Yeah, I think last year we were in a very unprecedented situation where we really were running low on funds. And I think we're in a different unprecedented situation where now we have a lot of funds and I think now it's really showtime. It's time to show why we're here, what we're doing on campus and why we raise the activity fee. So I think we have a big job as EBC, making sure we're being very diligent as we go through funding requests from clubs and making sure it's all being doled out equally. Yeah. And as an elected member of EBC, I would be able to assist the rest of the committee in making these informed, open-minded, and equitable recommendations for our elected. Thank you.
Next up, Senator La Madrid.
Hi, so my name's Ella. I'm a second year animal veterinary science major. Third year, sorry, I don't know how old I am apparently. I'm really passionate about finances, even though I am in an animal and veterinary science track. I grew up working with an accountant and spent most of my summers doing budgeting meetings. I also opened and helped allocate budgets for a local food pantry back at home, which is still open today, which is really cool. And please vote for me. I would love to help make the best decision possible. Thank you.
Alan.
Chairs, they get stuck on the carpet. My name. I'm already looking here. My name is Catherine Howell, and I do know. Fun fact about me, I got a 99 on my statistics final. I can also count to 10 without even using my fingers, and I think that's really cool. I have the privilege of serving on EBC for the last 2 semesters. Like a previous speaker stated, we are in an unprecedented year. This year's budget is much larger than we have seen in the last couple of years. We have a lot more flexibility to give clubs more funding, but we also need to maintain our own kind of standards as an organization. We can't give every request 100% of what they're asking for. In the last year, I got really good at saying no or drawing the line or slimming things down. And I want to continue to bring that into this year. As much as I really, really want to give clubs everything that they're asking for, sometimes they ask for things that are a little bit unreasonable. And I am more than willing to tell them, no, try again next time. Thank you.
Senator Stanford.
Hi, everyone. My name is Taylor Stanford. For those of you who don't know me, there's 4 reasons why I think I'd be a great addition to EDC. First of all, I'm a senior finance major. I've done 3 years of finance and accounting classes, so I know how to work a budget, know how to balance a spreadsheet. Secondly, I spent this summer interning at Canada's largest bank in anti-money laundering and financial crimes. So I know how to tell if business is legitimate and if a club really needs that kind of money. I think I'd be the perfect person to determine it. Also, I spent last year as a sergeant at arms, and I think that I'm ready to step up and take on a bigger role. And finally, I want to give back to the school that has done so much for me over the past 3 years. But I also know we have limitations and we can't always say yes. But yeah, go Stanford.
St. Lawrence.
Hello again, everyone. Also for your consideration for EDC. While not fully intentional, the word treasurer has followed me for a couple of years now. It's given me some invaluable experience where I was the treasurer of my school's National Honor Society and my class. For most of my time throughout high school. There, I had a lot of allocating budgets, not only for my school itself, but for the district. It was a society, a lot of allocating budgets within different food pantries, community services, and a couple other different events throughout the year. I was also the treasurer for the Biomedical Engineering Society here on campus for the past 2 years. I would love to put the experience those positions have given me to good use, especially now that we're tackling a very busy semester after the SAF increase. So it's showtime, everyone. There's going to be a lot of student orgs, associations, and rep boards asking for our support. I'd love to help them out as much as I can on EBC. So thank you.
Senator Sparks.
Hi, I would like to be on EDC because I have a lot of questions, as you may have noticed, if you have sat on the Senate with me last year. I ask a lot of questions and that tends to make meetings run long, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think that it would be more beneficial if I asked those questions in EDC and not in front of everybody. I also think that I would be really good for this position because I have a very, I try to look at everything as objectively as humanly possible. And I also have been on SOC before, and so working with those clubs, I've learned the kind of process that it takes and the amount of heart that everybody puts into their club, and then transferring that over to EBC would be very beneficial for the committee. And also just, we have such a big budget this year that there's going to be lots of people who need to help manage it. And I would really like to be one of those people, and I would really like to help out everybody here and all of the clubs on campus.
I do not have to clap first. Okay, finally, Craddy.
My name is still Ethan Gradish. I think you should vote me for EBC because I have a passion for finance. As you know, I have zero financial experience. And after last year's budget rate / change, I'm looking for an opportunity to allocate the funds to the best benefit. And also, don't mean to brag, but my Robinhood account is kind of booming right now. So, thank you.
All right, please write down 4 names out of Delorme, La Madrid, Cowan, Stanford, St. Lawrence, Sparks, and Craddy. Let's say that again. Delorme, La Madrid, Cowan, Stanford, St. Lawrence, Sparks, and Craddy. I will repeat it if anybody would like. Yes, please. Again, yes. All right. Delorme, La Madrid, Cowan, Stanford, St. Lawrence, Sparks, and Craddy.
Okay, the new sergeant at arms. Senator Stocker.
Soper.
Soper.
Connect everybody to who is to be connected. Probably close to that, I just was doing and John.
Great.
Yes.
Right. All right, we'll move into SOC. Currently nominated. Senator Van Beek, Senator Collmore, Senator Kern, Senator St. Lawrence, Senator Sparks, and Senator Villatt. Are there any further nominations?
Senator Sparks.
I would like to extend my nomination to a time constraint.
And point of information for the VPSO, when is SOC?
Fridays at 3.
Bill 4? Yeah.
Senator Kearns.
I would like to resign my nomination to Senator Van Beek.
Okay, currently nominated are only 4 senators, Van Beek, Collimore, St. Lawrence, and Villatte.
Any more nominations? Congrats.
For 1 seat on SEC, currently nominated Senator Cowan, Senator Harvey, Senator St. Lawrence, Senators Sparks, Van Beek, and Ricker. Point of information for the VPSD, have we chosen a time for SEC, and if not, why?
So there is not a chosen time because your time as the elected member is of the utmost importance. So we're waiting for you to decide the time. We just can't do Thursdays. Other than that, pretty available.
Senator Harvey.
I like to nominate Senator DeLorme. Thanks.
Senator Van Beek. Senator Ricker.
I like this in
Senator St. Lawrence. Senator Sparks.
I would also like to rescind my nomination.
Currently nominated Senators Cowan, Harvey, and DeLorme. Any further? I need to read them. Further nominations.
Okay, so
Sorry,
we just
that's-
started with Harvey.
Hello, everybody. I've been here a while. You know who I am, but for the new people, my name is Baxter. But during Senate, I go by Senator Harvey. And with SEC being on that, what I really want to do is get good concerts. And to get good concerts, you can't necessarily go for the most popular person. You kind of have to look for the more, especially with our budget. But of course, we are getting a lot more money, so maybe Jack Harlow 2.0, who knows? But with that being said, I kind of want who here remembers like the SoundCloud era? I see, yeah, okay. I see some people here. So that's kind of what I want to bring here, because that's the type of people that we would be able to afford. Amazing time. Think about that. Think about the college students. Think about how much they would love going to those concerts, how much fun everybody would have at those concerts. Yeah, also, I kind of just want to do like more student outreach to the general student body to kind of figure out what we want, whether that's a concert, a comedian, a play. I don't know really who would want to see that, but and maybe I don't think we've done this before. But maybe we could even do a country concert because that's pretty popular nowadays, and a lot of people like country. But with that being said, those are some of my ideas: SoundCloud rap, more student outreach, and possibly a country concert. Thank you.
Senator Cowan.
Hi, everybody. My name is Pastor Cowan. Hope you didn't forget it in like the 2 minutes that I haven't been talking. I'm gonna be real with you. The only reason I'm running for this position is because last year I looked at a calculator and we can afford Baby No Money, and I think that we should have Baby No Money. And I do in fact plan on going to every single SEC meeting and just talking about Baby No Money until we have Baby No Money at the University of Maine. He is essentially a diet Jack Harlow. And with that, I endorse one of the other people. Thank you.
Would you like to rescind your nomination or stay in the race?
Okay, Senator Lawrence.
If you want maybe no money, okay.
Hello, everyone. Senator Laura.
Yeah, I think SEC has very strong recognition from the general student body. It's one of the easiest ways we can actually impact the student body, and it's what gets the most visibility. I think that can be used as a way to show students what's happening with student government and how we're talking about like getting out all the information that we would like to. I think that's one of the biggest ways to do it, is just showing what student government does on campus, and also showing the same way with EBC and why we raise the student activity fee, and having something that's experiential. It just shows them what the benefits of that are. Also, my playlist has significantly expanded since being on SEC last year, and I think it's important to come in with an open mind
And like Senator Harvey said, not always going for the most popular, but also making sure that it can be a show that people enjoy. And I think that was really cool to have like the Chima Brothers for the spring concert where honestly thought that concert was that the opener was better than really my person, but yeah.
We're also really sick, so.
I think, but so coordinating the next successful few shows here is very important, so we can ensure students see and yeah, but to represent us with that, I know. Thank you.
Okay.
You give something?
I was gonna say right now, if you want to say it. Well, I haven't been saying it, but if you're the vice president. Okay, please write down either Senator Harvey, Senator DeLorme, or Baby No Money. Senator Callan.
That's Senator Baby No Money.
Yes.
What? So.
Well, actually, it's like Diet Young Brittany, not.
Okay, that's like a little better.
Hey,
Yeah, maybe. But it's like.
All right. Moving on to our final nomination of the night, unless I'm wrong. Okay, seems like I'm right. Okay, pro tempore, which is Kyle. You want to do a quick rundown of that?
Yeah, so as you can see, Vice President Chamberlain is on top at the front of the room. She wants us to the meeting. What the project boy does is that if Vice President Chamberlain is either absent from a meeting, or maybe she's like giving policy or otherwise not up there, the project boy reports to the chair of the meeting.
Great. Currently nominated, we have Senators Ricker, Vanderwood, DeLorme, and Sparks. We'll now open nominations.
Seeing none. Some speeches.
And we'll start with Ricker.
Okay. I mean, I've done this for like years and I still get like, get speeches and stuff. So yeah, there's kind of two different ways I'm all like, both from a professional lens and from a personal lens. Professionally speaking, I've been student government for approximately 4 years now. Since my very first day on campus, I arrived and I was pretty much all getting signatures to join student government. And during my time in student government, I've done my absolute best to be as involved in student government as possible. Anytime that there was like a volunteer opportunity, I've tried to make myself available for that. I've been a part of most committees at this point at the time. You see 5+ times, I would say like 4+ times. I'm someone who's always been trying to be involved in student government, and I'm really trying to make the most in pushing for student government. In any way, I really kind of can. I'm someone who understands all the rules and regulations, and I'm able to, I think I have a really good balance between keeping them upholding all the rules within the regular results, and also making sure our meetings are going smoothly, making sure we're not getting distracted by things that are happening. So I think professionally, I'll be a very strong candidate list. Speaking on a personal level, I'm just really obvious, I'm a Elizabeth subtle, and overcoming that and speaking for me isn't very difficult. And it's positions such as this, such as pro tempore, that make it important for me to be at UMaine and so be possible. So that said, what would you like? But I'm really be honored if you chose me to be a pro tempore and it's massive. Thank you for your time.
Next, we have Senator Vanderwood.
I'm gonna keep this short and simple. I think Mike Johnson has a really cool job, so being a Speaker of the House has always been like thing that I've always been interested in, and this is kind of like a smaller version of that, and I just think it'd be a cool experience. So I think.
Laura?
That goes in my nomination.
You got it. Sparks?
I don't have a deep reason for standing up here. I nominated myself because President Tripp said, if you're confident in your Roberts rules, nominate yourself. I am very confident in my Roberts rules, and I don't really have a problem speaking in front of everybody, which is kind of a problem for me, but not a problem for me being in this position. Vote for me.
Is that true? Okay. We have a tie. But we'll start voting on pro tempore. Please write down Ricker, Vanderwood, or Sparks. And
You want me to vote?
it could be, or you can force them to vote again.
Announce EBC first.
Oh, wait, I think you guys got it. We just voted. This is for pro tempore. And again, Ricker, Vanderwood, or Sparks. Sorry, was there a second question? You can see this. I can share this with you. I know what they
We should run it again.
We run again. Yeah, you're in charge.
We can run it again, I don't want.
Why don't we could run it?
Yeah, and I think that,
Very good.
yeah. Okay, it should be like.
All right. While we count the votes for pro tempore, we're going to ask Senators Harvey and DeLorme to give another kind of split pitch for SEC because they split 10 and 10. If the tie is not resolved by this vote, Vice President Shelmerdine will break her first tie as Vice President.
What about EPC?
And Madrid, Stanford, St. Lawrence, and Sparks. Want to start, Senator Harvey?
Well, first of all, I want to appreciate all of you who voted for me. As a junior, my time here at the University of Maine is coming to an end somewhat soon, not really, but somewhat, it's in the near future. And my time to be able to do what I want with SEC is coming to an end. And so I would just appreciate all of your support to vote me into SEC so that I could do some things that I wanted to do with my time remaining here at the University of Maine.
I think SEC went really well last year, being a member that was semi-involved because it ran through one of my classes during the spring semester, but then in the fall I got to be decently involved. And I would like to increase that involvement this year in whichever way I can. If I don't get this position, I'd love to do it as well. And yeah, kind of get more into background and not be just at the surface level of making some of the smaller decisions and kind of going into maybe some legal stuff to help out BPSC and BPSC Lehman, just to make sure that the labor is a little bit more distributed over multiple people and not just so yeah.
Again, please write down either Harvey or DeLorme for SEC. And you do not have to clear your vote. Which is pretty much self-explanatory. I don't know why I said it. Everybody votes the opposite way.
He said his name.
She was elected by the entire student body.
Wow.
Stop, I already lost. That's. That's all. Actually, not that.
Ooh, and while it's quiet, I would just kind of putting it out there, it would be very helpful, and of course, this is up to you. But when student government does post things, especially like the most recent student tickets thing, is so helpful, and we would appreciate if you also reposted those things. Because you are all kind of mouthpieces for those things, people look to you, and our Instagram could do better. Oh, there's like 3 centuries that we totally botched. Because they were like, how many seats are open? Am I good? And we were like, it's not good, we have no idea. No, it's okay, but I gave them all your emails, so it's okay. Right. The Senate has made the decision. Right.
Okay, we're not done yet. I now like to enter exec board. What?
Oh.
Trigger. Seeing no more new business, we are now enter executive session, and can the clerk please call the roll?